In this lesson, we'll be practicing what's called AC hard, a trick to factoring when the leading coefficient is a number that's other than 1. You actually could use it when the leading coefficient is 1, but it's a lot more work than is necessary. The reason why I believe they call it the AC method is because we're going to multiply A times C. When we multiply 3 times, I'm just going to use the absolute value, so 3 times 35 would get 105. So we're basically going to unfoil such that we keep the first term, we keep the last term, but we're looking for what multiplies to 105, and at the same time adds to the middle term, which is 16. And we're going to break up that 16 by using those numbers. So we can divide by 1 and do a method that will always work. We can't see it. Divide by 2, divide by 3, divide by 4, divide by 5. And I hope that you could see 5 and 21 is going to work, but just in case you didn't, we could keep going. And as soon as we find one that repeats again, we know that if it's possible, it's going to be one of the set that we already have. So I'm going to use 5 and 21 in a special way. 5 times 21 is 105. But we want to make sure that we can add to 16. Since really we wanted 3 times negative 35, we're going to have to make one of these a negative sign. And finally, we found what multiplies the negative 105 and adds to 16. In our class, we like to use the diamond. Even though we use 105 here, we use negative 105 here. And the numbers that we're going to choose are negative 5 and positive 21. So that means when we leave the first term and we leave the last term and we use 21 and 5, making sure the 5's a negative. We can put those in either order, but we have to make sure we put an X afterwards. And that's just because these two things are going to add to 16X. We like to draw the line down the middle and do the GCF of both sides. Just looking at it, I see that the GCF is 3X. Looking at this side, I see that the GCF is negative 5. And we notice that we're right because the parentheses are going to match. If you couldn't see the GCF in your head, that's where you would want to write them out and see what matches and leave your leftovers. Write them out, see what matches, and leave your leftovers. So our final answer then is going to be a parentheses of what matches, and the in fronts get smushed together to give us our other parentheses. In class we say insides and outsides, and I call this car, like you're putting it together as if it's spelling a word. That's the answer if I asked you to factor it. If I asked you to solve, you would have to have an equal sign in there. It'd be equal to 0. You'd set both pieces equal to 0, and you would get 2 answers because it's degree 2. If I wanted to check this, I would FOIL it back out. First, outer, inner, last. And since this was the original problem, I'm really sure I'm right. So here was the crash course in the AC hard review. Good luck with the section.